Now today we'll be talking about Kira and his comeback to the story of bluelock. Now his comeback makes a lot more sense than you think. I've seen a lot of people talking about Kira coming back as a villain, and people are giving him a lot of hype despite him being the first person to get kicked out of bluelock. Now this is just a theory, but what if Kira were to return to face off against isagi in the World Cup? Now you might be asking, how can he do that if he is also Japanese? One theory everyone is talking about is if whether Kira has dual citizenship, so he would be able to play under another country for the World Cup. Now I do agree that this theory is pretty much just a huge hypothetical, but Kira still remains as a popular character and is questioned all of the time of whether he will return. Now if you don't remember who Kira was, he was known as the Jewel of Japan before entering bluelock. He went up against Isagi's high school team, defeating them to go on to play in the Nationals. Kira meets up with Isagi at the front of bluelock as they are both invited to participate. Isagi was glad to be acknowledged by Kira because he was quite known in Japan and was a kind person. Kira was the main person to disagree with Ego when he first introduced himself. Kira just could not accept the words made by Ego. I mean, even Isagi was shocked. He had never heard of scoring at the expense of your own teammates and becoming a main striker who just scores goals. Kira and Isagi were both players that were taught that soccer is a sport played by 11 people, and Ego completely rips all of that. Despite all the arguing, Kira does come onto bluelock. Ego already states that those who are defeated at bluelock will be permanently barred from Japan's national team. Kira only came to bluelock to reject Ego's ideology. He cares that much that he wants to prove to him wrong, that his egoist style will not work. He vows to not let Ego destroy his future. Kira is eventually eliminated by Isagi himself in the first tag match in bluelock. Kira is completely furious as he was eliminated over a game of tag. I do think that the tag match was kind of a dumb thing to add in the beginning, but it did increase players' egos from day one. Now what if Kira does come back to face Japan in the World Cup? How would he do that? My theory is that Kira joins another country and trains with them to defeat Japan. Now if Kira is still on a teamwork based team, he could end up being on Germany, who is more focused on logic, or Italy, who uses robust team organization. It feels like we did not see the last of Kira, as bluelock tends to make us wonder about people all the time, and still finds out ways to bring back characters just like how they brought back Kunigami. His exit was seemingly fast and he was very frustrated to go, as he could want revenge on Ego. He only came to bluelock to prove his theory, and he could not do that in bluelock, so he could try to prove that outside of bluelock somewhere else. According to Jinpachi Ego, Kira's greatest flaw is his defeatism, as he could have survived the admission exam had he fought to the last second. Unlike his fellow bluelockers, Kira was severely lacking in terms of egoism, which also led to his unfitness in being a striker and at the end of his soccer career. Ultimately, Kira served as a prime example of how weak Japanese football had become due to its lack of egoism. Kira could come to serve him wrong if he did want to get revenge on Ego and Isagi, the two people who ruined his life. Now bluelock has one goal in mind, and that is to build a number one striker with the ego to match. Kira did not have much egoism to him, and his skills would be very lackluster compared to the characters we have now. So another question would be, is how good would Kira have to be able to go on to another team and face Japan? Kira would have had to train hard and change his mindset completely. I mean, look at characters like Nico. After losing to Isagi, Nico changes his entire mindset and starts to score goals for himself, just like how bluelock designed it. He even outbeats ace striker Kaiwa to advance to the second selection. I don't know just how well Kira could be in order to defeat the current bluelock players. He was deemed pretty overrated after the fact of him getting kicked out. Kira was a very selfless person, and bluelock stood for the opposite of that. We could have a clash of ideals of teamwork versus egoists. This would be a great ending of the Under 20 World Cup if that came to be. I think Kira fits the storyline so well. A guy like that, I feel like you just can't kill off so easily, but maybe I'm wrong. Even when Isagi eliminates Kira, it showcases Isagi leaving that old mentality of teamwork. By eliminating Kira, he in turn shows that he's willing to throw away what he knows to become an egoist, something Kira will not agree with. We know from the spin-off light novel that Ego saw the game between Isagi and Kira and has seen the potential of both. Even Isagi thinks back on how if he hadn't passed, it could have been the ones going to the Nationals instead. Kira has rejected the thought of Ego and is sticking to his common sense, kind of what Naruhaya was doing until he was eventually eliminated by Isagi. Even in the game of tag, Kira is constantly complaining about the rules and setups. Kira even advises Isagi to get Igarashi and go after the weakest player, but Isagi does not want to evolve that way. Even for the game of tag, Kira is trying to showcase teamwork, but it eventually backfires. He thinks he is safe as the ball is coming back to him and Isagi, but Isagi links up with Bachira to take out Kira. This could have technically been the first chemical reaction in bluelock. Even though Kira was tagged, Ego does have a point. Kira still had 1 second to go and tag Igarashi, but instead did not. He gave Kira a real simulation like in a game, and Kira did not approach it that way. He saw the tag game as pointless and did not seem as much, but he then is frustrated when he gets kicked out. And the question is, did Isagi ruin Kira's career or not? I guess we'll see in the World Cup on if Kira could be making a surprise visit. Now I can see why others also want Kira to just stay eliminated. Eliminating Kira from the get-go after showing us that he's that one power friendship guy is probably just the author's way of telling the readers that it ain't gonna be like your normal Haikyuu or sports anime. Even his character design was as generic as Isagi to get that message across. With him getting thrown off the competition, it shows everyone that running away, as well as power of friendship, ain't taking you far in bluelock. As for the weaker characters in Kira who stayed, well honestly they're just there to put into perspective just how insane the other players like Chikiri and etc. are. That's probably why Monk is still there to begin with. Once they've outgrown their purpose and they leave the bluelock facility, they would be casted away like the others. I think Kira being in bluelock would not help the story it's trying to tell. The show is about people being pitted against each other for survival of their dreams. If someone was going against that, then it would slow down epic moment pacing. I feel a story about Kira outside of bluelock, rising to be a great striker without using Ego's system, and facing against the winner of the bluelock program would be far more rewarding for his character. Obviously they would need to go into his backstory about striving hard while not being able to become a pro in Japan, yet still accomplishing his dreams, even with the uphill battle, sticking to his own beliefs, or just make him an outright evil villain out to destroy bluelock for ruining him. Either way, I want to see more. This has been a two-way contest for Kira on whether people would want him to return or if he was just meant to be casted away so early. But yet, despite all of that, Kira has gained a lot of popularity inside the bluelock community, even after only being here for 2 chapters. Kira was considered the jewel of Japan and was selected to play for Japan under-18 team. I think his send-off was more impactful than others just because of his social status that he had and his personality. We have seen other Japanese treasures enter bluelock, like Aomori's Messi, but his impact is not as big as Kira's. I don't think Kira had a huge ego, but he definitely did after being eliminated. Maybe he had an ego, but he was hiding it. He yells at Ego, telling him how could he erase the future of a player as talented as him. This is definitely an egotistical statement, and he even tells Ego to eliminate someone like Isagi or Igarashi instead, because he is Japan's national treasure. His true ego was starting to show, and the once charismatic and friendly person is now turned into a cold-hearted egoist. The theories on Kira have been great, and I can't wait to see just how everything will pan out. Will the author bring back Kira? I'm not sure. Would be cool to see if he brings back a character that got eliminated, but as a villain this time. We've already seen Kunigami, so who knows what bluelock might have in store for us. Well, I thank you guys for watching the video. Let me know what other kind of theories you guys want to see about. Please like, comment, and subscribe for more. I'll be back in the next one. Peace.